Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, Baseball Talk, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Wrapping up fall. Guys are wrapping up, right? Everything is kind of winding down. Well, colleges, I know
We're
you're
just
still
starting.
playing. You're just starting.
We're just starting.
But I know in the Game 7 sphere, they're wrapping up. They got a couple weekends left heading into October. So if you're still looking to play a little fall ball, check out Game7Baseball.com. And I know they have the big finale down at Ballparks of America this October. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. Get to go down to Springfield, Branson, maybe take a nice weekend. You get a break in the fall. It's nice. Maybe the trees even, right? Get to drive through the trees and see the foliage. All of that stuff. Relax a little bit. Some fall ball. So check out Game7Baseball.com. Tell Dave and Dave that YBM sent you. Appreciate that. All right. We have our guest in studio today from the University of Missouri, St. Louis. I'll just say it all, right?
The hell, let her up.
There you go. The Tritons, Coach Scott Ewell. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you having me again.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time to come in. And to the right, the man, the myth, the legend.
Right.
Is that a little too much, Coach?
That's too much. Way too much.
I'm a little intimidated sitting next to him right now.
I don't know about that.
Francis Howell head coach Tony Perkins. Coach, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's always good. I love this part of it because this is the bridge, right? This is the next step from college baseball, from high school baseball to college baseball, getting perspective here. We got Coach. You had a good first year.
Yeah, we did. It was not the way we wanted to end it, but we started off playing some really good baseball and just kind of ran into some things towards the end. And I mean, everyone can say the injuries and this and that. We just couldn't kind of put the finish to it that we wanted to. But a lot of improvements. A lot of guys did some things that we were excited about kind of heading into year two. So hopefully we can hit the ground running this year.
So we opened up in 2019, and basically there was a void in the area. I mean, we saw that there was an opportunity to.
That's a tough task sometimes when you're looking at the recruiting situation. Where do you go? How do you set that emotion? And from year one, you're talking about building culture.
Yep.
Right? And you know, so do most of the guys, are there guys that didn't buy in? How do you understand where you move? What do you do? Do you move on from guys? Are there things that, you know, are, I know these are pretty pointed questions, but I think it's the reality of it because as a coach, you have to understand in college, there are kids that, you know, may have been at the school, you inherited players. You know, how do you deal with that scenario?
Yeah, I don't want to say guys didn't buy into anything. Some guys just didn't fit exactly how we wanted them to, and maybe how they wanted it to be. So
sure.
A little bit different of an atmosphere that we brought in, and we pushed them a lot harder than what they maybe had been pushed in the past. And so it was different for a lot of kids, and there are a handful that didn't come back, and everyone had their own reasons for this or that, but. We won't get too much on that part of it. But
no, I understand.
It was, I think the guys that came back all knew exactly what to expect, and they're the ones that we wanted to come back and because they were the ones who really bought in and understood what we were doing, and building the culture was. I mean, it was easy for the guys that we needed it to be. Like, we talked about winning a ton, and we talked about how hard winning is, and what it takes to do it, and it takes every little bit of what you got, not just a little bit of what you got. So we're in a good spot right now. We're excited, and again, last year wasn't. I don't want to say it was a success because it wasn't, but we did take steps in the right direction. And maybe I'm stubborn. I had 10 wins more, or whatever it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm a perfectionist. I don't like losing, and we lost more than we won last year. So we got some work to do still.
I enjoy what you said about guys coming in and not understanding maybe the conditioning aspect of it. You know, I'll tell my kids, you know, we're out there running and stuff. I said, you guys don't have a clue.
Yep.
Once you leave high school and you get to college and they're all over you and you got to work really hard, some of the kids just run themselves right out off the team, I imagine. I'm guessing.
Pretty quickly, yeah. I mean, it's funny, but sometimes you can have your assessment made in the first day and a half. It almost seems like some guys, if they're going to be able to handle it or not. Not everybody, but it's a step up, and you always get the high school kids that walk onto campus thinking they're the big man on campus, and
right.
they're this and that in high school,
more.
and so is everybody else on the
right,
team.
Exactly.
So,
I'm glad you're saying this stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and plus those guys with that, and now they've had to fight, and now they're all bigger, and you get these high school kids are, man, you guys are bigger than I thought you were, and they're moving weight in the weight room that was a lot different what they expected, and. And not that we just sit and get on the line and run guys, because we don't, but we do have a tempo that we expect, and we tell our guys all the time the standard of what we want to do, it's going to be held every single day, whether you have everything you got or not. And some guys don't have their best stuff every day, but it doesn't mean their standard's not going to be upheld every day, and you got to find a way to go do that.
When do you guys lift? When do you do your lifting? I mean, how's that in your schedule?
Yeah, so we go Thursday and Friday. We go after practice. That way we can kind of go use everything that we got left. I'm not a big fan of guys coming to practice at coach. We just lifted this morning. My legs are sore. I don't have everything, and all of a sudden now we're scrimmaging and they're getting down the line and they're not going that hard because their legs are sore. I don't like that. So we go afterwards, so that way they can give everything they got from me, then everything they got left in the weight room. And then Monday is one day we go in the morning, but Monday is kind of more of our activation lift, kind of our get our bodies back where they need to be from the weekend, and then we lift Thursday, Friday right afterwards.
What time are you lifting Monday morning?
I believe it or not, I'm not the old school guy. I mean, you might think I'm crazy. I don't like the 6 a.m.s. So we have 2 different groups. It's 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So kind of whatever fits within their class schedule. So the rest and the recovery thing is getting bigger and bigger nowadays with all the science and the research. And not that I want our guys to sleep in just because they're lazy, but there's times that they do need to sleep in, and so we'll let them kind of get some rest and figure that out on their schedule.
That's great.
Interesting. Well, that thought process is because I'm sure you have a strength and conditioning coach, right?
Yep.
So I think, leaving those things to that particular individual, which is different from high school because you're kind of the strength and conditioning coach too as well. I mean, some of the bigger schools I know have guys, you have weight coaches and things like that. But you're pretty much in charge of the whole thing that way as well, though, too, right, Coach?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to do too much. I mean, the way the landscape has changed, those kids are working. I mean, it's amazing, all the strength and conditioning that they go to. They do speed training, they do strength training, they do arm care, whatever else. I mean, they all are jumping in with their club teams, or they're going to P3, or they're doing, there's always places that they're going. And plus you got, football lifts all year, so they just jump in there with those guys. A lot of my guys are football guys, so that helps too.
I like that point you made there, Coach, with, the outside training. Do you see a difference, Coach, when they're coming in from high school? Do you see a difference in guys that maybe didn't go to some of these professional training facilities with a club or something like that? Is there understanding how to work maybe have a little bit bigger edge on understanding how to get things done?
I would say it's all different. I mean,
Okay.
we've had kids that go to these club things that go just because their buddies do, and they come in unprepared. And we have kids who don't go to anything; they just do it with their high school or their football team, and they come in extremely prepared. So I think it's all in the kid and the mindset and what they're looking to get out of it. If they know what they need to do and they come in and they're hungry and they get after it, then they could do it with their high school or their club team. Now, the club teams sometimes have a lot more resources, and the professional place that these guys hire have a lot more resources. So, I mean, obviously, if you've got the right mindset going into those, that's really going to help you quite a bit. So, but as far as like the club guys versus high school, they're both kind of a little bit of some really good, some really bad. So, I think it's mostly up to the kids' mindset and honestly the high school coaches. Like there's some guys who put a lot of time and stock into that and push their kids and expect that, and there's some that don't. And if the high school doesn't have that standard, it's tough for the kid to go do that every day. So that's something we put some stock into when we recruit kids. We want kids from good high schools with good coaches who know what they're doing. So
I enjoy what you said about, the guys rolling in and, you used to being big man on the block and all of a sudden everybody else is, just as good, if not, better.
Yep.
And that's what kids, I think, well, in my program, I know that this goes on, that they understand that they got to get better.
Yep.
If they want to succeed in college or maybe get drafted or whatever else, I mean, yeah, sure, that's all their goals.
Yep.
But, they got to get after it themselves. And if they just walk in, like you say, and I'm sure you see it quite a bit, where a kid just thinks he's going to walk on and be the shortstop and bat third, and that's not going to happen as a true freshman usually.
There's always that swing. Usually that first week or two, the freshmen are riding high, and they usually come in, they do things really well, and then they get into the flow of things. Their bodies are a little bit tired and maybe a little homesick, or maybe everything's catching up to them, and then all of a sudden, practice gets a little bit tougher. Your legs get a little bit heavier, and the arm gets a little bit more fatigued, and next thing you know, you got to struggle through some things. And I think that's where the freshman kid learns the most, if they're able to kind of really sit back and understand that. Some kids get too stubborn when they go through their struggle, but every freshman's going to have that 2, 3, 4 week struggle where they really got to figure some things out. And
You got to get to class, too.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, because class don't stop. Right. We tell that to everybody. We're not like, nobody's going to slow down for you and feel bad for you. And that's in life. That's in school.
Shoulders.
It's in baseball. And
Exactly.
but those kids that understand that and push through it and learn from that are the kids who usually make it. So
It's good stuff.
I like that thought process and understanding, because this is information. No matter how much you tell somebody something, especially a kid, because we've all been there when we were, 17, 18 years old. I'm telling you, this is what right? We know. Okay, whatever. But you look at these situations, you got kids maybe traveling. I know when I was looking at your team when you were up in Minot, North Dakota, where I didn't even know they knew what baseball was because there's so much snow.
It's my neck of the woods.
is it?
I went to Dickinson State my first
Yeah,
year.
there we go. Yeah, I was at mine for 6 years. Yeah, it's cold up there.
Got that right.
You're recruiting guys out of Arizona and Southern California and getting them to go to North Dakota to play. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. But my first thought was, and as you're saying that, homesick, and especially if you go to a different climate like that and you're not used to those things, how do you deal with that as a coach?
You gotta help the kids work through it, and you gotta know that they are gonna show up to practice beat up some days, and it's not physically, but it is a little bit of a mental adjustment for them. So I'm not a doctor by any means, so I don't even know what I do to help the kids, the process, but it's just opening the door to them when they need to come in the office. And I've had kids come in my office and sit on the chair and close the door and say, "Coach, I don't need to talk. I just need to sit here in silence for a second." And they sit there in silence and then just kind of talking through, just making sure they're calling home and doing all that stuff. And I've kicked the kid out of practice to go and call his mom before, because I asked him, and he said he hadn't talked to his mom in 2 weeks. And so I said, "You're not practicing until you go call your mom." So just making sure kids are staying on top of that stuff, because the little freshman, he was the big kid and he was away. I don't need to talk to my mom right now. I'm glad to be away. Like, no. Go talk to your mother.
That's how it works.
So we again, there's just a lot of different ways. We just kind of help the kids through it, and we pair our kids up with an older guy every year when they come in, so they'll be with a returner, and that's kind of a guy that I want them to lean on. If hey, you need something, go talk to this guy. See what he did when he needed this, and if you're struggling, he was struggling at some point, go find out what he did. So again, I don't have all the answers for that, but I want to give this kid as many resources as he can to go find the answer, because I might say a couple things that don't resonate with him, but he might go talk to Billy on our team, and Billy might have all the answers for him. So just giving the kids as many resources as he can to figure that out.
I like that, because to me that just speaks more to understanding what makes family.
Yep.
Understand, and that basis there, because if you're disconnected from your family, that to me that creates a disconnect here, and the inability to connect with the people around you. Having that foundation and those types of things, that's not scientific. That's just people.
Yep.
That's just who we are as people, and understanding how we build relationships, understanding what it means to build relationships. And if that foundation's there, it's much easier to connect with those people around you. And I think that's my opinion of it. That's what I believe, and I think it's reality. Because, and I want to ask this question here between the two of you. Because, most people didn't hear it, and we don't need to get into it a lot, but these gentlemen are talking. You evidently know each other to a degree.
He reached out right away, which was a good move on his part.
Two, I think, wasn't it? Like I don't even know. I was down here for 2 weeks yet before I called them. I talked to a couple people. They said, "Hey, you need to know this guy."
He did.
And so I reached out and got to know the guy a little bit.
There you go. Fortune favors the bold. That's what I believe. And, I saw you at the PBR event in Columbia. I walked up to you and introduced myself. Said, I saw the UMSL. I'm going to go introduce myself to Coach U. I didn't know who he was. I knew he was a coach there. I believe those are the real things. If you're going, this is what we do. So I want to connect with people like yourself. This is an interesting conversation, and the dynamics between a high school coach and a college coach are absolutely important. Yes.
Yeah, I think Coach is in a good spot, really. I mean, if he can, and he's trying. I know he's trying to get like St. Louis guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's those kids that want to stay home or stay close to home. Other kids, like you were talking earlier, just get away. I mean, they're two different kind of kids, and you got to figure that out. Yep. I really loved what he said about taking an older guy and assigning him to a younger guy. I think that's valuable, and that's a good piece of coaching, Coach. It really is.
Yeah, those kids they need a different voice, and
yeah,
they hear my voice every day, and I try to let our coaches and our players have their own voice, and when it's that time for it, let them go use it.
And just even being here and doing what you're doing, I think, gets your brand out there. I mean, people scrolling through, there's the UMSL guy. Yep.
Right.
There he is, and that's a good move on your part too, I think. And
the more people can know about it, the better.
Right, exactly. If you can hammer down and get some of these drop-down guys and maybe went away, and then they decide to come back, and you can scoop those dudes up, you're going to have a chance. I'm pretty sure about that. And I'm sure you're on. You understand that part of it, and it happens quite a bit, really.
Yeah, it does, and that's just the nature of it today. I feel like the last 5 years, it's changed even more. Kids just want to leave for a little bit, and that's okay. I mean, this is one time in their lives that they actually get to do that. They get to pick up everything and move away, just kind of part-time, and then come back. And so I understand that part, but there's kids that don't want to do that, and then we'll do that, and we're there for the kids who found out that moving away isn't as much as it cracked up to be, like you just said. So
I think that's true. There's some kids, I got to move away, and they move away, and they don't know how to deal with it. They get in trouble. And there's that part of it too that's very difficult. So you have so many different, I think, aspects of that. And when you're reaching out and calling these high school coaches, what's your perspective on that? What are you looking to gain?
I think calling the high school coach was far more important than calling the club coach. I think the club coach is important because they're with them quite a bit, but the high school coach is going to give me more of the everyday life of the kid. The club coach's job is to get their kid somewhere. The high school, a lot of times the high school coach is more to develop the kid. And they obviously want to get them places too, but he's more worried about kids doing the life things than a club coach is. So, and they're also playing for the name on the front of their jersey instead of the club team where it's I'm gonna go get mine, and I went 3 for 4, 2 home runs today, but we lost 8-4, but I don't care because these 4 schools saw me. So I want the kids who want to compete and who want to win, because when they get here, you're not playing to go get drafted, you're not playing to go get seen by these schools, and you're playing here to win. And if those things happen, awesome. But you're coming here to win for the University of Missouri St. Louis. You're not coming here to go 3 for 4, 2 home runs and lose a game. So that's why I think the high school coaches for me are most important, because kid doesn't show up to class on time very often, coach, and that's a red flag for me. Or the kid's disrespectful to teachers, or the kid just doesn't care if we win or lose. The kid cares if he was 3 for 4 or not. So, and the high school coaches give me a better perspective on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think it always makes me feel good when a college coach texts me or calls me or emails me and asks questions about a kid, because I told my wife this about 15, 20 years ago. I said, I made it. And she goes, what do you mean? Well, the college coach just asked me about an opinion on, not a kid from Francis Howell, but a kid from someplace else. I'm there.
Yep.
Made me feel really good, you know. I mean, but yeah, I'm going to be honest with them. I mean, there's a lot of kids I said, run away, you know. I mean, I've told just here recently a couple of guys, I said, run away. That was one of my response to that one.
Yep.
You don't want that kid to be a cancer, and he's not going to work hard for you and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's very good that he's talking about developing relationships with the high school guys, because they do know their kids better, you know. And what he just described is absolutely true. You know, when guys, you know, the more affluent kids get on these club teams, and they expect it's entitlement and it's going to happen and you're going to get a scholarship and blah blah blah. I mean, it's, you know, you got to work. I mean, and that's the hardest part, you know, and you get that work ethic from the college coaches with them every day.
Yep.
You know, and you know, I try and talk to all my kids every day. It's tough, but I try to do that. Just say, hey man, how's it going today? I mean, you know, they might be in a bad mood. Their girlfriend might have dumped them, or they flunked a math test, or so, you know. And that's the kind of stuff you need to know as a coach, and say, hey man, you know, what's going on today, man?
Yeah.
You know, have a good day, great. Move on to the next guy.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yep, absolutely. Sometimes the short conversations are the better ones. Yep.
That's it.
I love this thought process, because we talk a lot about club baseball around here, and when you look at the landscape from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 14, you're probably going to more than likely have one of the kids' dads coaching the team.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. I'd say it's probably high 90%. There isn't too many people that are putting their kid on a 14U team that's got some coach that's paid from somebody else or something of that nature. You get to 15, that does change a little bit. You get into if you're with a club and things of that nature. So, you know, it's interesting in that question, you know, and a lot of these coaches that are coming into that are kids that have played ball, coming back. How invested are they into the program, into the kids? What are they doing? And I think that's a good question for clubs to think about when you're talking about a college coach here. Is there a frame of reference? You're still got to go to the high school coach, which I don't think that should ever go away. I think that's because the point that you make there with winning. You know, I understand at the youth levels people go, but you have to teach kids how to win. I believe in winning. I know that's not the popular thing to say. You're saying it, but as a college coach, your employment.
Yeah, I put food on the table by winning. Right? Like, you don't win, you get shipped out. You gotta go somewhere else, and the wife's pissed, and everyone's mad. So, yeah, winning for, and obviously developing kids along the way is the big part, right? But like you don't win, it doesn't matter.
But the development, I've said this for people don't understand what winning is. And you guys have explained it, in my estimation, very well. And if more players understood what winning is, then we would have more success, I think. And not because how do you go 56 and 87 in the major leagues? I mean, this is the best talent. These are all good players. Yep. What is this recipe, and what is the mind? Because then it becomes about the mental focus, the mental part of it. How do you think? There are very few coaches that are able to manage all the personalities, all the egos, all these things. And when you set these things in motion, you're going to see which kids are. Because if you develop winning attitudes in young kids, which it means practice, which means workouts, practice, weight training, workouts, the ethic to develop your physical focus, the mechanics, the things of that nature, the attitude in which you approach the game, that gives you the opportunity to succeed. Nothing is guaranteed in this world. Nothing.
I wanted to ask Coach this one. I mean, we're talking about club, and what you said is pretty close to being almost all the time with dad coaches and stuff like that. And then I know that you're probably reaching out to the club. I mean, if you, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you're going to talk to the high school coach, you're going to talk to the club coach, you're going to talk to maybe a teammate, you know, and kids that age, and that, you're going to touch every base.
Every base that we can, we're going to. So we'll usually, like when we see the kid play first club team, we'll talk to the club coach first because he's right there.
Right.
And then we'll do our research and find out if guys on our team know the kid, because that's a big one for me is hey, do you know this kid? What do you think about him?
Right.
And because they're the ones who are with him every day and every minute of every day sometimes. So and then once we get to that point, if you pass all those tests, then we'll go right to the high school coach. So
well, here's another one. When you're talking about the club coaches, there's quality guys.
Yep.
Guys that you trust, I would say. Yep. Guys that you go to for information on guys.
Yep.
And other guys you probably don't trust as much. Is that
correct?
Is that pretty close?
No, that's spot on.
I'm kind of tiptoeing around it a little bit, but
that's spot on. And again, that's not knocking some guys, but he said earlier how invested are some of the club coaches. Like if there's just two college kids that are coming back to make a paycheck and coach a team, and you look at them, and they're
connections.
Yeah, they're sitting on the bench and they're on their phones in between innings, and I'll go up and give a courtesy ask just to find out if
introduce yourself.
But but it's that for me then is I mean I take very little stock in that. So the high school coach, and then the next one for me is my players. So whether they know them or if when they get them on campus, when they're on campus, we make sure we have our players with a recruit as much as we can. Like they give our campus tour by themselves, and they'll do a little bit of hangout and that practice. I'll try to distance myself from the kid a little bit, just to let him go be with our guys for a little bit, and then before I sit down for our final meeting with the kid, every single time if the guy who gave him the tour with them, if they're not with me, I'll just call the kid and say, hey, what'd you think? Just to get a little bit, just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So, and sometimes they're neutral, don't say much, or sometimes, I mean, I've not offered kids that I was going to on a visit because my guy said, Coach, no way, man. He doesn't fit here.
Your kids probably your best recruiters. I mean,
probably
more than your coaching staff. I mean, you talk to I'm sure you talk to his kids. I've talked to other college coaches and say, hey man, we need a pitcher, man. Go get me one. Yep. And talk 100%. To the kids to go do it. And they'll know them because they might not be playing somewhere or playing at some really small school or some JUCO, and they talk about them and talk to them and get them to come. And they're probably their buddies, but 100%. They could be really good players too. Yeah. So I mean, your kids are your best recruiters. I believe that
they are. And I get mad at our kids when all of a sudden I find out that one of their best friends just committed somewhere else. I didn't know about it. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, is he a good player? Well, yeah, Coach, he's really good. I said, well, why didn't you tell me about him? And like, do you think he could have helped us win? Like, well, yeah, you could have helped us win. Like, well, that would have been good to know before. And obviously, I know about most of the kids sometimes, but there's kids that I don't know about that are good. That if they commit somewhere, and our guys knew about it, like, I'll be mad. Or if I'm on Twitter and I see our guy liking a bunch of posts for a couple players, I'll call them up and say, hey, you've been liking all these guys. What do you think about them? And then we'll go after them. So we use our players a lot more often than people probably think we do.
It's smart. It's smart. When you and that moves us, the 2024 season, it's right here, 2023-24. You're always looking at year 2. We have evidently come to the place, and I love this actually about Coach Howell. I like the attitude of putting wins up. We all know what it takes to put wins up, right? You have to have talent.
Yep.
You just one of the things that I saw on Twitter. You guys, I bookmarked this so I'd remember it. You guys were ranked 19th in the top 25 Division II JUCO recruiting rankings here. This is the JBB.
Yep.
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's the junior college rankings, and does that mean anything? No, but it doesn't mean that we've brought in some guys that other people think pretty highly of. Yeah, it does. So.
Yeah, I know it doesn't mean anything, but to be put in that place,
yeah.
We talk about recruiting. When you talk about starting to recruit, that means they're recognizing the fact that you have put talent in that place. Yeah, you don't know yet. You don't know how that's going to work. You don't know. But the ability to put that talent in place says a lot about what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah, it does. I've got a coaching staff that works pretty darn hard, which is nice. So that it does mean something, right? It means we brought in good players that have done things. So we're excited about it, and the talent we needed to bring a lot because we didn't do what we wanted to do last year. So I've told guys from the start, we're not here to rebuild. We're not here to do this thing slowly. Like, we're here to compete to win the conference right now. And I don't care if we're the new guy and the team hasn't been very good, this or that, but we're not here to be good in 5 years. I'm here to be good right now. So, and we brought in some kids to help us do that.
Yeah, he did. He did. You got one of my guys. He's really good.
He's really good, yeah.
Shane Kirby's a pretty good player, man. That was a good pickup, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're excited about him.
As a player, if I'm just sitting out looking at this, if I'm and I'm not saying, I don't say but if I'm an UMSL fan, if I'm a booster or whatever the case may be, and I'm hearing that, I'm like, heck yeah, let's go.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I'm a player and I'm a guy that has that attitude, that's what I want to hear. I'm like, okay, yeah, sign me up, let's go. I want to win right now too, because success puts you in a place where people are looking. No, not too many recruiters at the next level then, if you're looking at professional baseball and things like that, are watching the 6 and 35 teams. No offense, I understand we can sit around and we can placate some of that stuff, but at one point, I'm looking at the success. I'm looking at successful teams. I'm looking at where the success is happening. Why is it happening? There's got to be talent there, and if the coaches are executing and the players are buying in, I want to know about these kids. That's the reality of it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, winners want to be around winners, and people want to follow winners. So
that's exactly right. The more you win, it attracts players.
Yeah, 100%
I mean,
it does.
they're going to look down the top 20 list, in collegiate baseball, whatever. You see UMSL, and there's like, what's going on there?
Yep.
That's right down the road.
If they crack that list, I mean, that's a good thing because people like that, and like you said, that they want winning breeds winning because they'll want to come. They want to be a part of it. They want to be a champion.
Absolutely. I believe that so much. So 2024, you got your guys, you're starting the process. What's the process here, Coach, as you guys start working towards your finishing fall, you're starting your fall stuff? What's your process here?
Yeah, teach them how to win. I mean, that's kind of pretty basic. We do our practices, I bet you, are 20% skill work, and the rest teach them how to win. And even our catch play, like you gotta be good at the boring things to be able to be good at the good things. And our catch play is important for me because it shows me that guys are locked in for the day. And when they're receiving a play or a ball from their partner, if they turn a absolutely perfect relay feed in catch play, does that translate to everything? No, but it shows me that that kid's willing to do the small things to win, because it's catch play in that. And so when I see a kid make a bad throw and catch play into a good play, and instead of just letting it be a bad throw, and we tell our guys, bad throws make good plays. And if they're willing to do that, then I know that they're ready to do the little things. So if we do a bunt defense, or if we do a offensive bunting day that day, like, are they worried about making that bunt perfect? Probably, if they're going to do their little things right in catch play too. So, and that for me is a win, because if we can do those little things, then you've got a chance to do the big things right, because the big things are easy, right? Everyone wants to go hit a double. Everyone wants to strike somebody out. Everyone wants to hit a bomb, and everyone can do that. But not everybody wants to put their feet in the right situation and turn the right relay in the third inning when we're up 2, throw a guy out at the plate or third base, and next thing you know, we win by 1 run because we threw that guy out, or we miss a tag in the second inning, and next thing you know, that guy scores and we lose by 1. So those little things for me are, again, not as much of can you do it or not, because all of our guys can do that. All of your guys could probably do that, but are they willing to do it every single time when it honestly doesn't matter as much? And that for me is a big one.
I'm becoming a big fan, Coach. You talk about bunting.
We
Not
like
too many
to bunt.
colleges talk about bunting.
And you know what? Like it's a lost art, but it's pressure wins. We
Not in
tell
my
our
place.
guys all the time. Pressure wins.
Pressure wins.
Yep.
That's what the ball and play.
Yep. We run a ton. We steal a ton. We bunt a lot, and we do all the little things. If you can apply pressure,
Little
someone's gonna
things win you
break.
games, that's
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah. If you're a high school player and you're listening to this, that's why the high school coach is talking about these things, so make sure. I always said, and this is a blunt way to put it, but I believe this: unless you execute, you will be executed. If you do not execute, you will be executed, because that, and people go, oh my gosh, well, it's true. You will lose. You just said it puts that 1 run, that one place, and that's the separator at the major league level.
Yep.
And
They can't bunt.
No, they can't.
Yeah, because no, they can't. There's very few guys in the major leagues that can bunt anymore. It's just, and you'd see with the speed that some of these guys have, you could drop bunts all day long and get on base. I don't understand it, but
I don't either.
that's another whole conversation.
Yeah.
I think we've had it a couple of times.
Oh, mercy. Coach, tell them where you guys home field, where's it at?
Right on the south part of campus. So it's, there's a couple older buildings, but it's right across the street from like the main area of campus, and it's really nice. Our athletic department's done a really good job of helping us put some resources into it the last year and a half since I've been here, and we just put about $12,000 worth of dirt on it, and we've put some stuff in the bullpen for our pitchers to start using, and we're looking into some other things, another batting cage, and some other things like that to upgrade it. So our department's done a really good job of helping us find ways to make it even nicer, which a field that I already think is a really nice field. So we've had a few people the last couple of weeks and months kind of show up that haven't been there in a while and say it looks completely different from what they remember it being. So that's, I think they're saying it in a good way, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, got to keep up with the Joneses, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's an arms race nowadays with all these facilities things.
What conference are you in, and who's in that conference now?
Yeah, we're in the GLVC.
Okay.
Quincy and Springfield and Maryville and McKendree, and man, there's 15 of them. Put me on the spot. I'm probably not smart enough to remember them off the top of my
I
head.
understand.
But those are some of the good ones right there that we named off. Jury's been pretty good lately.
Jury's been good, yeah.
Those are some of the good ones that hopefully are looking up at us like in a couple months, I guess. But
Yeah, and you're not playing, because Quincy, I know this is, I think, what's interesting, and this is why I love these conversations, because this particular conference has some really good baseball teams.
yeah, absolutely does. Absolutely, Quincy. I mean, they were top 5 all year, and Springfield was top 10 all year, and both been to World Series a few times. So it's and Maryville's been a lot better the last couple of years. I don't know what they were a few years ago, but the last few years they've been pretty darn good. So it's it's a lot better baseball than what a lot of people think it is. So there's a lot of talent.
And that's where, and Kevin made this point a couple weeks on the show. If you want to play college baseball, all right, and I don't think we do this enough. Get out and watch some college baseball. Go to UMSL, watch a game. Maryville, watch a game. Go watch these teams play. Mm-hmm. I've done that. I did. It's not what it. I don't think people realize the level of baseball when you get into the collegiate side of it, whether it's Division III to NAIA to Division II to Division I. I mean, there are teams out there that are very good. They play well. As Kevin always says, it's the difference between boys' high school baseball and men's college baseball. And as a freshman, if you understand what you're walking into, I mean, I loved your the 3-hole hitter. His name escapes me.
Last year,
yeah,
Brandon Oleon.
Kid could hit.
Yeah, he could. He couldn't play defense, but he could hit.
Hey, you know what? It's DH for a reason, right?
Yeah, it's no. He was a good player though. He did a lot of good things for us, and I thought there was another level with him. I wish I could have had him for another couple of years, but he was a good player.
There you go. And so I think it's important, Coach. Right? Get out, watch some of these teams play baseball.
No doubt. And each level, I mean, like there's some place for every kid to play. I mean, they can find a place to play. I mean, but where do you fit? And when are you realistic? Can I play at a JUCO? Can I play at D2? Can I play at D1 or whatever else? You got to figure out where your fit is, and you got to figure out, can I get in there and play? I mean, am I going to sit as a freshman, or does this school traditionally no freshmen play? Well, don't go there. Go someplace where you got a chance. I know Missouri State, just because Jake McCutcheon, he's able to start most of his freshman year. So I know that they're going to put the best players out there. It doesn't matter what class you're in, but high school guys got to do their research a little bit and figure it out. And so you check out the roster, see who's gone, find out who they brought in. He said, you got 14 JUCO guys. Was that right? Yeah. Something like that. I mean, so you got to understand who's coming in. He brought in 3 shortstops, and you're a shortstop. Not a good place to go to school.
100%. Yeah.
Or if you want to play second base, I mean, you're right. It's the reality of it, isn't it?
100% it is. Everyone's got a place, and you just got to make sure it's right for you, and just like we got to make sure it's right for us with you. So go somewhere that's going to value you for what you are. And when we're talking to kids, that's a big thing that we try to talk about. We talk about us, but we talk about what we see with them with us, not just let's not talk about just us. Let's talk about you and us, and I think that's going to make the play.
What are you guys known for academically wise? I thought I heard you mention engineering or something.
So we've got.
What's your biggest programs?
Yeah, our business department is phenomenal. There's a couple areas in our business department, the top 10% of the world that are really good programs, but our engineering, I think, it's kind of a hidden gem. We actually run our engineering through WashU.
Gotta be smart to go there.
You do, and it's $70,000, whatever it is, but you get their engineering at our price, which is about a $50,000 scholarship to begin with. So our engineering is phenomenal because of that, and then the business is good. We have a lot of sports management guys, just with the resources we have in St. Louis with the Cardinals and all these. We got an exclusive deal with St. Louis City, the soccer team, that they want a ton of our UMSL's students to go work their internship. So we've got some built-in ties with some professional teams that help our guys with internships. Good. So it's sports management, business, and then the engineering side are 3 of the ones that our guys really, really enjoy. And then there's obviously quite a bit more, but those are the kind of the ones that our guys seem to gravitate towards.
You get them engineering guys, you got some smart kids.
Yeah, yes, you do. Way smarter than I am.
That's okay. Me too.
It's okay.
Yeah, because, I was mentioning it, Tyler Bizzle, engineering, that's where he wanted to go. He ended up at S&T.
Yep.
So there you go. So that's good to know. It's another option.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're looking for an engineering part of it, UMSL is another option there, guys. I love this stuff. Coach, they can follow UMSL Baseball on Twitter, X. I always say both because, it is what it is. I got to put on my glasses so I can read. at UMSL So you can follow the Tritons on Twitter, X, whichever the case may be. Make sure you do that. It's a good follow. We do that. And so you can keep up with Triton Baseball. Is that your main social?
Yeah, that one, and then Instagram. I'm not a huge Twitter, Instagram guy. One of our younger assistants is really good at it, so I let him do all the tech stuff and all the cute pictures and all the good stuff. So, but he does a good job with it. We try to get as much of our information out there as we can with it.
I thought you guys did a good job. I thought there was a lot of good information. I love the interviews that you were doing. They had up on social media. And I thought you guys did a good job with that.
Well, good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, thanks for coming on, man.
Love it.
Appreciate it.
Anytime talk baseball, baby.
Absolutely.
And folks, UMSL head coach Scott Ewell, pleasure.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Pleasure being here.
We'll get you back.
We'll be back.
I love this conversation. So thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. If you like what we're doing while you're here, if you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe button. It's right there. Easy to do. You got to use your mouse, though. Unless you got a touch screen, I guess you could then hit it. Next to it, though, is the big one, the dinger. You got to hit the dinger. We do like the dingers.
Yep.
Because chicks dig the long ball.
They do.
You know. So you get that dinger, that gets you all your notifications for upcoming episodes like this. Good information. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot again. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers. What should pitchers do, Coach?
Pitch. Get outs.
Get outs. I like that.
Get
That's
outs.
good advice. That's
Get
good
outs.
advice. Hitters,
Hit them where they ain't.
look at that. That's the old school right there coming out. That's it. Everybody, we'll see you next time.